Hello and welcome to this episode of the Lawless Podcast. And this week we're joined by LMA.
Hi guys.
And yeah, we're going to be discussing loads of stuff today. So LMA, if you'd just like to introduce yourself for us, please.
Yes, so I am LMA. I'm in first year of Caths at Durham. I'm really excited what we're going to talk about.
Nice one. So so just give us a little bit of background about you. So sort of like, where were you before Durham? What was going on there?
Where was I before Durham? So I did a year off, travelled around a bit, did some work, so did some modelling, but then also did some volunteering, wanting to do that for myself. But then before that, just sixth form, secondary school,
Nice one. So where did you travel to?
So where did I go? Okay, so at the beginning in September, when the year off started, I went to Milan and I spent nearly 3 months there, which was an experience, lots of great stories. And then after that, I did spend a bit of time at home because obviously we went into lockdown round 3, 4, what was it? I don't know,
Something
lost
like
count.
one of them.
And then I thought, right, I'm getting a bit bored. I wanna do something cool. Halfway through my gap year, let's do something.
Else, yeah.
Then I went off to Kenya, which was amazing, one of the best experiences of my life. And sound cliche, but then I came back because it went on the red list, and then went off to Costa Rica. But Costa Rica was that was quite funny because I only spent 2 weeks there because
Really?
I was trapped in a hotel in quarantine for the whole time I was there.
Lovely. So you just went there, sat in a hotel, and then came back.
Saw a sloth though. So
What,
basically,
from the hotel,
I went all that way to see a sloth. Spent
Nice.
1 day in a sloth sanctuary,
Worth it.
and
That's
then
it.
came back. Sad.
Nice one. So and what was Milan like? What did you do there?
So I was pretty new to modelling then, but sort of the etiquette is you go off to, wherever it is, Paris, Milan, New York, and you try and make a name for yourself and
That's
build
the sort
up.
of done thing, is it?
Yeah, exactly. So you try and make a name for yourself, build up your portfolio, try and get some work. So I just went off at 18, not having no life skills. I was
Just
very
off you go. Here's
off
a
you
flight.
go.
Be gone.
Alone in a little apartment in the centre of Milan. And I had ice cream every single day though.
Nice.
So
Get the nutrition in.
and
Gotta be done.
pasta. Yeah,
Yep, that's
great
it.
pasta. And then also I really developed an obsession with red wine. I don't know why.
It's the place for it, isn't it?
I got to try lots of different wines. I mean, I still have no idea what I'm talking about, but
No,
I just
not a
developed
connoisseur
a bit. Yeah, definitely not. But sort of developed a taste for it. So
Yeah, fair enough. So like, what sort of day-to-day routine whilst you were there? Just going to different modelling agencies, or what happened?
yeah, mainly sort of maybe the odd test shoot, kind of meeting different photographers and going to castings and things. And the castings were a really interesting experience actually, just because you'd go into a room and they would, you'd give them your card and your book, and then they'd sort of say, okay, can you stand on that X?
On you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And then they'd sort of get you to turn around and they were just looking you up and down. It was a really strange experience, but I definitely learned a lot just about kind of not taking this kind of thing at face value, and learning that it's fine, it's the job, it's the
job,
industry.
it is what it is. Yeah.
Exactly. Don't take anything too personally, kind of thing. But then, when they said, all right, okay, can you just strip, can you take your clothes off now?
What?
That was that it
and
did
this is
get
at 18, they're saying this to you,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
and you're just expected to do that. There's no sort of like, what are you doing? Like, you just got to, all right.
because at 18 you're sort of age and you're
So
kind
you
of
can
legally
technically
allowed.
do it, but it's still a bit weird. That you're doing
exactly.
It.
But it definitely is very different in Europe than the UK, I'd say.
UK modelling is a bit different then.
Yeah,
so,
I feel like they're maybe a little bit more respectful in the UK.
Yeah.
But
They'd be like, "Oi, strip now."
yeah,
Like what?
exactly. Yeah, they'd always ask you and be like, "Do you feel comfortable with this?" But yeah, it was really odd out there in Milan. But
'Cause you're by yourself as well out there.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
did you know anyone out there when you went out, or
I didn't. No.
you just literally went?
Yeah, just landed and thought, right, okay,
Here we
what
are.
now? Yeah.
What's next? Right, food, apartment. Let's go.
Exactly. Oh, I remember that first supermarket shop was quite
Must
daunting.
be something. Yeah.
I realised I had all these months ahead of me, and I just thought, oh God, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Could you speak Italian or roughly?
Ciao bella.
That's it. That's literally the only Italian one I
Grazie.
know. Yeah, one of them as well. Nice. That got you about. Got you your ice
Yeah,
cream.
exactly.
sorted you out.
Got me what I needed. Yeah.
Nice. So like after the casting then, so you'd obviously you go in, give them your stuff. They'd be like, just take loads of photos of you then, different sort of like positions and clothes and stuff.
Yeah,
or?
exactly. And they kind of get you to do a little walk. Did have a lot of comments about kind of, because they'd measure you pretty much every week.
What, so like if there was a change, they'd be like, what are you doing?
They'd sort of, they wouldn't, I think there's, I don't know, to do with legal things, you're not actually allowed to say, can you lose weight?
No, because that's pretty toxic, isn't it?
Exactly.
To say that.
Yeah, and they've kind of changed in terms of, on the legal side, they've changed that quite a lot, but they still find
still
a way.
low-key saying that.
Exactly. They still find a way. Manage to find a way. So there was a few kind of, your hips are, getting on the bigger side. They've gone up a few inches, and I just go, oh yeah, sorry, that's the pizza. It's too good.
Too much ice cream. Sorry, it has
here.
to be done. It has to be done. That's so mad. How they're like, because obviously obviously you're not like that. So these are like tiny little measurements that they're trying to do.
I know, yeah.
And it's just must be quite hard, isn't it? Because you're competing with all these other people to do this, and if they're willing to do it, you kind of have to be willing as well, or you're not going to get in. In a sort of weird comparison, like with like sort of like really sort of powerlifting and like bodybuilding competitions with that, a lot of them's sort of like on steroids or stuff like that. So if you're not prepared to do the steroids, you're not going to have a chance, because like if everyone's here doing it, then you're here. You're not going to be able to compete. So even with this, like you have to be willing to do it kind of if you want to do it.
Exactly. You do kind of have to build up a sort of, right, just don't let this affect you.
No, it's just like, you just got to get on with it,
Yeah, kind of block it out kind of thing. But then there were definitely a few points where it did kind of reach that point where I'd go, oh God, maybe I should actually stop this. Like maybe this is a bit
bad.
much.
Yeah. It's like, where's the line, isn't it? Like,
I know.
What could they tell you to do that's like, okay, no, sorry, mate, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, because it's quite hard to spot as well, just because you sort of get sucked
into
things.
And if everyone's doing it and they think it's normal, then it's a bit weird if you go, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Because everyone else, all these other models around you, like, yeah, well, he told me I was a few inches above, so I had to lose it, and I've lost it in a week by not eating anything.
Yeah,
and it's like,
I know. Yeah.
And you're like, what? What do you mean you're not eating anything?
There was this one time actually when I walked into a casting. I think it was like my second casting of the whole time I was there, and I was eating. I thought you got to have snacks that are quite modelly, have
a
some
modelly
nuts
snack.
or
Right, okay.
So I thought I'd get into the groove of things, sort of try and fit in, and then I was eating. I think it was, Pret. They do these like nuts and dried fruit.
Oh yeah,
like little packets.
Yeah.
And then I was eating those, and this one model turned to me. I don't know what I can't remember where she was from but she was like, what are you eating? And I was like, oh, just some, like
little bag
dried
of nuts. Little bag of nuts, like
just some dried fruit, like that's all.
Nothing
Nice to meet you, by the way.
What's your name?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And she was like, you'll get fat. And I was like, ooh, okay.
Cheers, love.
Ah,
yeah, do you want to fuck off now? Like, yeah. That's mental.
That's the kind of environment that, and kind of you fuel each other.
Yeah, and it's perpetuating, it's egged on. Like, so if someone's
definitely.
like, what have you eaten today? Well, 2 dried fruit. Well, fuck yourself, mate. I've had only 1 bit of dried fruit, so who's winning?
Little did she know, I just went off and had a huge burger after that.
Good. She went, oi, look at this. You can't have this, can ya? Way. Whole burger. Bang. Oh, that's so. So at the sort of casting, there was like people from all around the world there, or was it mainly European or?
Yeah, but it kind of varied, but mainly Europeans. Yeah, but really from all over. countries I'd never even heard of, to be honest.
And it's a sort of Milan. What are the sort of hubs in the world of like modelling? It's like Milan.
Yeah, I guess it's Milan, London, definitely, Paris, New York. But then there are certain cities that have a different type of modelling. So Miami and LA, they're quite sort of, you know, the swimwear brands and like the smiley kind of.
That's what LA's like, isn't it? So.
Exactly. But then Paris is more, you know, you have to be stick thin, the high fashion brands, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because you kind of, each person is kind of moulded into
the brand.
Yeah, and how they look and how they'll be received in the market. Which is, that was interesting. Well,
so like so you've obviously gone somewhere, how getting your foot in the door, like how are you doing that? Is it literally just like sending emails, going in there, and so you've gone to the casting and obviously they've gone, yeah, we like you, and then obviously you just go off and do work for them, or how does that kind of sort of work?
Well, I had a really unsuccessful time there because whenever I went to a casting, I just didn't get a job for the 3 months I was there, which is kind of rare, and usually you'd get one or two, but I don't know what was wrong with me, but I'm not an expert, but so if you did get it, then you'd do the show, or whether it was Milan Fashion Week or something like that, or you would go off and for a clothing brand or bag brand or like whatever
it was,
and then you just take a few photos, they'd just publish them anywhere they like.
Do they have the rights from then, or they do?
Yeah, it's kind of, it's really weird. You're kind of just
like
giving yourself over. Yeah, it's a really, if you think about it, it's really, it's odd, but
so do you like, obviously you have your own sort of apartment, but you're very much, that is your life, isn't it then?
Exactly.
And if that's all you're getting, if all your mates are models and they're all saying the same thing and all doing the same thing, you can't, how do you get out of that then,
Exactly.
It becomes the whole thing.
Exactly. I feel like it was quite hard to get out of as well, just because it's so easy to get sucked in, and once you are, and also you have contracts and things like that.
So you're legally obliged to
exactly. And things like you're not allowed to change your hair, and I had to tell them every time I'd go and get a haircut, and they'd be like, okay, wait, what are you going to do with your hair? Just
tell us.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's my hair. What's it got to do with you, mate? Like.
But the thing is, my agency were actually really nice.
Okay, cool. That's
good. And I didn't have any bad experiences with them, but I've just heard a lot of people with different agencies who, just some very questionable things said.
Because like the agency are under pressure from the people who they're getting run by to make sure that you're meeting the standards that are imposed upon them by the companies.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they're being toxic and saying, I want to put my hand around your waist, like that's me passed down the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then you're just like the bottom of the chain going like, what do you mean I can't eat? Like
I know. You do get some really dodgy photographers as well.
A bit like weird.
Yeah, quite weird.
And again, how can you know if it's dodgy if you've not been there? And where's the line? That's again
I know.
What I'm saying.
It is quite bad. You sort of do get really good at interacting with people you don't like as well. So
fair. It's a good skill to have.
But then, I mean, I guess that is a skill that has come out of it, and also getting really used to rejection as well.
It's such a skill in everything. Like
exactly,
you have to just be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because when you take it to heart, it's just not good, and that applies to literally anything. Whether that's applying for a job, starting like leave. So for me, the other day when I was giving out Rebels for the podcast, sometimes I'd be like, "Oh, can you stop for a minute, have a quick chat?" They'd be like, "Oh, sorry, I'm busy," and that's not on me. That's just they're busy.
That's them, yeah.
Exactly. Or this modelling company, just because you're not meeting their ridiculous standards.
I know.
Why would you want to meet their standards?
Exactly.
They're fucked. Like,
exactly.
They can go away.
I know.
And that's good. You're not interacting with them people.
Yeah.
So you're just saving everyone time by not doing that.
Yeah.
You know.
A lot of people. Well, actually, there's a big thing. Positive discrimination. They sort of say, right, we want one person from this ethnic background. We want someone who's blonde, brunette. So
they've got their little boxes they want ticked sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you don't kind of fit their vision, then
no.
Yeah, it's not it's not personal. They're not saying, okay, you're really bad looking, just get out. But they just have an image of what they're looking for.
This is what we want. You may not be it, so that's it.
Exactly.
So what modelling have you done then? Sort of like, who have you worked with? What's going on?
I went down a rabbit hole of lingerie, but
so we've been down there, we. Okay.
That was a very slippery slope because they are extra strict about measurements and.
I can imagine, yeah. Because obviously it's all sort of on show, isn't it? Like,
yeah, exactly. But I heard that, well, it's a fact that they do pay the best. So those kind of
so you were
those
like,
kind of
just
jobs.
Tolerate it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to uni soon. It's fine. Like,
it's not going to be for long. Just get it done.
But then that was sort of when I realised, okay, I what am I doing? I didn't even want to do this really. And then I sort of stopped and had a great summer before uni, and then now I'm here.
Nice. Because I think that is that point of going, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing here?
Exactly.
Like, why am I tolerating this? I would never usually tolerate this. Why in this scenario is it okay for you to do this or say this or be like that?
Exactly. Yeah. You kind of have to let go of your people pleasing self and just go, actually, wait, no, let's backtrack. Let's
reverse here.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that mean it's like, how did I get here?
Exactly.
It's just like that.
And that was me.
Yeah. Wow. Well, so was that all in the UK then, or other places?
That was mostly in the UK because I was quite deep into debt after Milan because I didn't get any jobs.
Imagine.
So that was a bit tricky to navigate.
So we were like, right, lingerie, here we go, down we go, come on guys.
And that is the thing actually, I can't imagine doing it as a career because it's just so unstable.
It sounds intense as well.
Yeah. And just financially you're not secure. You could be making thousands one month, great, but then you could, have to invest and go into the minuses another.
Exactly.
You just don't know really.
So it's not, even though it's contractual, sometimes it'll be like there's a lot of it like off the cuff, sort of 1 shoot, 2 shoots sort of thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's just so you can't really plan anything because they'll just say, okay, right, tomorrow you're flying here. And you'll just have
what
to
do you mean? Hello, day plans.
Yeah, exactly. Had a day in my nan planned, what?
Sorry, mate, no tea and cake, nan. Off to this place.
So you kind of have to be ready to just drop everything.
Drop a hat, bang, off you go.
Yeah.
So obviously you did Milan, and then what did you do in Kenya then? What was that about?
Kenya was, it was great. I mean, fresh out of lockdown, there's about 40 of us on this programme. And everyone.
Was it like a charity thing, or what was it about?
Yeah. So we went off and kind of did marine conservation. So it was a lot of snorkeling and like data collection and stuff like that.
So like how many sea lions or something there?
Yeah, exactly. Like stuff like that. Yeah, and
it's changed.
Exactly. And different types of fish, and that was all really, really cool. And then we also got to every Sunday we played football with the locals, and that was the best bit because all the kids were running around and it was really fun learning Swahili as well. But oh my god, it's quite hard.
It's quite intense.
I'm not a natural linguist though, so maybe that's.
Your Italian speaks for itself, doesn't it? Like,
but those 5 a.m s, we'd have to clean up the beach.
That's nice, though, isn't it?
Really nice, but then when you're hungover,
probably all your cans from the night before, wasn't it? Like, got to clean them up.
That moment when you'd bend down to pick up a empty can and the head would, not the one.
Not that. Whoa, hello. Fair. So that must have been fun. How long were you there for, Kenya?
So I was there for how long? A month, I think. I planned to do a lot more, but then, COVID.
Then back you come, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Fair.
But at least I got out there because a lot of people just didn't.
No, I'm surprised about the amount of travelling you did, to be fair.
I know, yeah.
A lot of people had this
did get really lucky.
Yeah. Like you were doing no travelling, because I went to Cyprus not this summer, the summer before, and this is when, no, you never get there, mate. It's impossible. No flights. Goes on the website. Just loads of flights. Clearly you can go.
Exactly. Right? And also you can find lots of loopholes.
There's always a way. There's always a way.
Exactly. There's a will, there's a way.
Exactly. We had to do all these sort of like documents and that saying loads of stuff, but
so many bits of paper in the airport.
So much paper here. What can I do? Just which one do you want to see? Have it. I'll move on. That's it.
Exactly.
Nice one. So so we've done up to there. So how did you actually get into modelling? Where did it sort of all start?
Where did it all start? I got I think one of the models who was part of the agency I just recently was with, she sort of said, oh, you know, like you should come in, and I think it was more of a connection sort of
Oh,
thing.
so she was like, I think you'd be good, so then
Yeah,
come in.
and I think when if one of the models kind of bring an agency someone and they get signed, then you get money for it. So I think she was quite keen to
so
be like,
sort of
right,
like,
come on,
come here, in you go, go on. No more
Um,
prep for you, get in there. Yeah.
So yeah, and then I did get signed. But then how old was I? I think I was 15.
Wow.
So yeah, quite young. And then
Is that young or is that about average or?
I think it's actually, well, yeah, I think it's about average, to
15.
be honest. Like a lot of people, you know, 13, 14. I mean, in Russia, it's ridiculously young. But then you can't really do that much work before you're 18.
Yeah, because
so
you're quite limited, sort of like legally what you can
exactly,
do, sort of hours you can
and
work.
yeah, and you have to have a chaperone and things like that. So they
Yeah.
prefer you kind of like train you up, and then
So
when you're
getting
18,
into a state
just
where you're ready to just go
yeah,
at 18.
exactly, yeah, into the cattle market, go
In
on.
you go, bang,
Yeah.
in the grids, roll up, who we got on here? Fair. So that's pretty cool. That's sort of like your mate got you into it. And
Yeah.
then is she still involved now, or is she kind of not doing it?
I think she's sort of, I mean, she is, how old is she? I think she's about 28. And there does come a point where people, you know, it's like,
Bit
the-
old, or,
yeah,
yeah.
and they kind of look at you and then look at someone who's 21 and young and, well, yeah, young and fresh, and they kind
City
of...
fresh. That's it, bang.
That is it. That's
Straight
it.
in, city fresh. Nice. So I don't know, how would you, to someone like looking in, how would you actually describe like, the industry itself, like as a thing? Would you look on it positively, not really, or mixed bag?
It really depends on the type of person you are.
Yeah.
So if you're, you know, you like social media, if you like, if you love a good party, it's a great industry for that.
Love a good partying.
And meeting new people, traveling, yeah, that side is really good. But then, I mean, with every industry, I feel like there are two sides to the coin.
Good and bad, really.
Yeah, but you just have to decide whether the things like the pressure, the sort of body image, mental health, you know, will really affect you, or you can sort of
just
push through.
Stiff upper lip sort of thing, just get through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but even still, like with this sort of stuff, you can just say it's fine, but low key, it's still gonna be there.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't block it out. It's even with like, so I want to join the RAF as a pilot later on. That's sort of my sort of career
sick.
path.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of acutely aware of like the stuff I might have to do and see.
Yeah.
So with that, like, you know, you can, even with anything, you just put it aside and go, no, I'm fine. But low key, it's still there.
Yeah.
Unless you dredge through it, like, and go, look what, you know, has happened and like what people have said and how that's affected me. Unless you actually look at it and go, right, we've sorted that out now, let's move on. You've reflected, then it's not going to sort of change. You have to do the work.
Yeah.
You know?
No, you do have to take into account all, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And if you're going into industry where you're aware of that's coming, then you have to just be like, let's have a way of processing it.
Yeah.
You know? So for you, how do you think you found it then? Like really, like going into it, or
I think going into it, I was just so oblivious. I had no idea what to expect.
How would you? It's 15. How would you know?
Exactly.
You know?
And I didn't really know anyone apart from that one girl, but she was a lot older than me. So
and she's not going to slag it off. She's trying to get you involved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it was really exciting, kind of, you know, going on a set, having your makeup done. As a 15-year-old, I thought, wow, this is great. This is great.
Yeah.
But then you kind of turn up at some like a photographer's dodgy apartment, and it's really like there are some parts that really are not glamorous. They're kind of the opposite. And I didn't really mind those because I thought, right, it's just means to an end.
It's part of it.
Yeah, it's part of the process. But then you sort of the odd comment or just the people you meet, it does get a bit draining after a while. But the thing is, I think it taught me quite a lot, so I wouldn't go back and change anything.
Exactly, like all the sort of experiences that in the moment weren't so positive.
Yeah,
you can go, right, I've learnt something from that. You know, I've grown as a person from that. So it was worth doing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
So when you said about like dealing with people you don't like, what sort would you just be like? Just sort of tolerate it and just go, yeah, whatever, or sort of how would you do that?
Just keep smiling, smile and wave, boys.
Yeah,
smile and wave.
Smile and wave. That's it.
But then, you know, when the conversation just, you know, they're just talking about how little they've eaten in a day or how many jobs they've booked. And
you're like, I've not booked any jobs, so
exactly.
jump sharp.
Exactly. Just sort of, it does drag on a little bit. But
and when that's the constant narrative.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get to know anyone if all they're saying is this same sort of script, right?
I know. Yeah.
Who are you? I don't care about these things you've been told to say. Tell me who you are. Like.
It was great for the eye candy though. You go to a casting and go, wow, God, I've never been in a room.
Attractive people, like,
really attractive people. It's great.
That's it, bang.
Especially because I'm bi as well, so I just got the
That's
whole.
The whole lot. Yeah. Fair
great.
enough. That's it. Got everyone in the room. Yeah. That's fine. But yeah, so like, to talk about mental health generally, what do you sort of do to sort of keep all right? Like,
I think if you don't check in with yourself occasionally and just be like, okay, right, how am I actually feeling? Then you can just, you know, things start to bottle up and you kind of go, spiral out of control or whatever. But then I actually keep a diary. It sounds a bit dumb.
I journal as well.
It really helps. Like really helps. Just kind of making sure you're ticking over and you're actually okay, not just pretending to be. So yeah, that really does help me actually.
Right, exactly. I find as well, just like, it's so cool because let's say I go back like a month ago in that journal and be like, oh, that's how I was feeling on that day.
I love that.
And you go, look how much better I am now.
Yeah.
You know, look how different it was.
No, it's really cool.
Because the way I describe it is like, you know, seasons in a year, like good or bad, it's not lasting forever.
Yeah.
It's just a period of time that's happening right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like, if it's bad, you know, push on through, learn.
Yeah.
If it's good, enjoy.
Yeah.
You know? And
exactly.
it will constantly keep changing because it's never always going to be good.
I know. I love looking back at when I was about 14 as well.
Did you keep one even since then?
Yeah.
When did you start? Like when you were really young?
I think I was 14.
Have you still got like all of them since then?
Yeah. And then looking back and just hearing the shit I'm chatting, like what am I waffling on about? I don't know, but it's quite funny to look back. Yeah.
Even just looking back on old photos of me, I'm like, what was I doing? What am I doing there? Like,
what was I wearing?
Honestly,
what are you doing?
Yeah, that style, sword and go. Honestly. But yeah, like, it's just so good to just look back on stuff and just like reflect. It's that reflection that's so important.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you could be like, oh, I'm fine. You can keep telling yourself you're fine. But if you don't, do the work and the reflection and don't genuinely talk to people, then it's not gonna be all right. So that's a key thing I'd say. For everyone listening, just like, you know, find someone today who even maybe you're not that close with, but you can kind of see they're not doing the best. Just sit them down and be like, how are you doing? Genuinely, openly say. If you don't actually give a fuck, don't speak to them. But if you really care and want to help them, sit down and speak to them. That could really change someone's day. Even smiling at someone. I walk down the street in Durham, everyone's heads are down.
I know.
I try and make eye contact, their heads go down. I'm like, all I want to do is say hello and give you a smile. That's it.
And you really remember it when people do make the effort and smile and say like, oh, like morning.
Yeah, that's something. That's really something, you know?
Exactly.
And like they'd smile, like they'd be quite sad before, then they'd smile and it's like, that's their mood change. That's sick. That's really good.
Yeah, I know. It really makes a difference.
So yeah, everyone in Durham, smile. Yeah. Smile more.
Smile for once.
Exactly. Just give us if it was snowing yesterday, you know, like some people were like really gassed it was snowing, and some people were just so depressed. Oh, I have to walk through Durham when it's snowing. It's like, just chill out, mate. This is cool. It's snowing, bruv. You know, you enjoy it.
I walked through. I put on some Bublé for the first time this season,
it has to be done.
And it was snowing. And what song did I? Oh, beginning. Wait, what's the song?
Beginning to look a lot.
That one. I was loving life.
Loving life.
Great.
No, like I was walking back from work yesterday. And I was just literally just like dancing through the street. I don't know what I was on. I was on a different one yesterday. I don't know why. And all these people were looking at me like cheering, like happy and that. And I was like sick. You know, because like then it's just that little one action. The whole day has changed.
Yeah.
And what did that take? Me lifting the muscles in my face to create a smile. That's nothing, you know. And to them, bang.
Exactly.
So that's it. Just spread positivity because you never know, you know, what someone's going through or basically what could be going on in the past that's still under the surface, manifesting in some other way.
Yeah.
So also, if someone's addicted to you as well, you've got to realise that a lot of the time with that, that's just them trying to deal with something. You know, and it's not ever about you at all, ever.
Yeah.
And even with these sort of like dodgy photographers and that's just something in their life that's going on. That's not about you.
Not
or that
personal.
model saying that, you know, you need to lose weight or you'll get fat. That's her internal shit going on that's going to you.
Yeah.
But you're just like, that's not me. That's not you at all.
Yeah, exactly. Go off and eat a burger.
Eat your burger. Have your burger. If anyone ever tells you that, just eat the burger in front of their face.
Eat the fucking burger.
Exactly. Eat the fucking burger. Bang. This video is not going to be monetized because I've sworn about 20 times in a minute. So that's good stuff. But yeah, so going on to a bit more sort of like school life. Back at like secondary school, you moved through quite a few schools, haven't you?
Yeah, a couple. But then sort of secondary school, I was there from 11 to 18.
So you was in the same one that whole time?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what was that like then? How was the school for you?
School was, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't the best time just because it was quite a small year, very intense, a lot of chat, and it was quite cliquey. Yeah. So you had to belong to a group, and I was a bit of a floater, bit of a lone wolf. I sort of did my own thing, but that wasn't.
Group to group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the same.
Yeah. But then that wasn't really allowed apparently in the States.
You're not in the group.
I know.
Do not talk to me.
I know.
I know. So weird. So you know that sort of like classic high school US sort of all the tables,
the jocks,
the goths, the
nerds.
Yeah, that's it. Don't sit with me. You're not in my group, man. And you're in the lunch line. The nerd spoke to me, Brad. It's like, what? Like, what? He's a person. What is wrong with you? Just talk to him.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just people. Yeah, people love that categorization. Just
let's pigeonhole him for this reason. Like, cool, why?
Yeah. And I was just the one with my tray in the toilet.
Got my tray. Just chilling in the toilet. Someone comes in, throws a bit of toilet paper over the stool. It's like, bro, it's in my meal. What are you doing? Yeah, so like I think just, don't pigeonhole anyone. Why would you do that?
I know.
Because going back to our previous interview, Tom, I love you, but what we talked about then was like he didn't tell me about him going to Eton, and I think that was a really good thing because I could get to know who he was and not judge him for anything. Because a lot of people would judge people for that sort of thing or anything.
Exactly.
Sometimes you can say a few words, and the connotations of you saying them words will change someone's opinion of you for a long time. Just because you said them words. Because there are certain words that are very loaded terms.
Very loaded, yeah.
You know, I'm part of X, I'm part of Y. Someone goes, you're part of Y? Well, I'm part of X. I'm on the red team, you're on the blue team.
Exactly.
We're enemies. Why?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I know.
And what a lot of people don't realise is a lot of these institutions have been set up in a way to cause people to divide. It's on purpose. They're on purpose to divide. Because when people don't know they're being divided, that's the perfect way to divide them. You know? So there it is. Bang. Bit of knowledge for you there. Comedy and knowledge on the Lawless Podcast today. Bang. But yeah, so going back to school then. So you're in the toilet with your tray, having fun, getting your meal,
vibing.
washing your hands, vibing.
Don't forget to wash your hands.
Wash your hands, you dirty pig. Bang.
dirty pig. Yeah. That wasn't me though.
That wasn't you, no.
Very hygienic.
Very hygienic, yeah. Clean hands. Clean old hands.
But then I think with girls especially,
it's very, very much cliquey, isn't it?
God, yeah. And it's just very sort of psychological. I feel like bullying now is much more subtle than it was, than it kind of has been.
It's not just stealing someone's lunch and punching them or something, right? It's let's slag her off in the group chat.
Exactly.
Yeah, or do something else.
Exclusion or just,
oh, sorry,
like
you're not invited to Jessica's party on Friday. I'm sorry to say this, LMA, but it's just not going to happen. Like, you may be good friends with her, but the group has decided that you're not part of this club anymore.
Oh my God, really? Okay, well, that's fine.
It's fine, okay. And you just go over your head and you the head down,
just walk of shame.
Yeah, walk of shame. And all the girls will be trying to pass in their car, and you're just like walking along by yourself. It's like.
Or they didn't tell you about the party.
Oh,
and then post
you see it on its Snapchat.
Everywhere, and you're just at home in your face mask.
Yeah,
and
just chilling.
Yeah, just like, okay. Saturday night. Right.
The big night. Little subtle hint there.
Saturday night.
Yeah. But that's really mad. So like people do that sort of thing. I think again that goes back to selfishness and not having any empathy at all. Because if you had 100%. If you had empathy as an individual and you go, okay, how's this person feeling? You would never do that. You would never do that. Because it's that sort of me, which is a very big cultural thing at the moment, I think.
Yes.
You see it in Durham anyway. If you push in a queue in Durham, you're a dickhead. Yeah. Just telling you. That's not a controversial view.
Yeah.
Because why would you do that? Don't push people.
Just in Britain, that's queuing.
We are well established in the ways of queuing. So just don't push someone. Like
it's a cultural thing.
The queue's not going to go faster if you shove someone. If anything, it's going to make it go slower. So don't do it.
Exactly.
Run over back here and there. But basically, like, yeah, I think you're so right with the sort of bullying and that. Like, it's not as, it's not even like with warfare, going back to sort of military standpoint here. Warfare used to be two armies on a battlefield having a fight. Now it's cyber, intelligence, espionage, election fraud. So we've gone from bullying, punching someone in the face, or calling them a dickhead, or like throwing some like sandwich at them or something, to you know, leaving someone out.
Yeah.
You know, even sort of like revenge porn and stuff. That sort of stuff, like exposing someone's reputation. I think with girls, it's very reputational. Would you agree with that? Oh,
very reputational. And there's so much going around with, you know, in school. If you remember, there's a big, ask that girl for nudes, go on.
Do it. Put it in the chat. Like, yeah. It's just so weird. What is wrong? Why? That's so weird, isn't it? That's so weird.
But I just, honestly, every year, every school has a story like
There's
that.
always, no, you go to any school in this country, so ask anyone you know, say, have you got a story about this? They'll go, yeah, I have.
Exactly.
And if they don't know someone, they'll know someone who knows someone. And if it's that big, that's a major societal and cultural issue.
Yeah.
People just think it's a bit of harmless, do it, but like the implications, it doesn't go away.
Yeah. It stays with you forever.
Yeah.
Like even now, stuff that's happened at school, I'm still, you know,
still going through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like even if you aren't consciously aware, your subconscious mind remembers trauma very, very, very well.
Yeah.
So it's going to impact the way you act, like
for the rest. For the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life. And there was someone like, why do you act like that? Why are you doing that? And it's like because of this previous thing that's happened.
Exactly.
But you're not aware of that because all I talk to you about is how many prets I've had. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
exactly.
You have to open dialogues with people and be like, what's going on? You know, let's talk to you about this. But I think it's really just mental. And the people doing the bullying, like there's clearly something there as well. Why are they doing that? Why? Why are you leaving someone out? Because you're afraid of being left out yourself? Probably. Yeah,
it's just insecurity, I think. And just feeling like, right, I have to be in this tribe to be accepted, so then I feel good about myself. Yeah. And they'll just do things that compromise their own morals.
In order to retain that status.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, basically with some people, they'll just... with the moral stuff, I think that's really important because somebody got the tribe's morals are X, Y, Z, but my morals are to a higher standard, but you're just going to disregard that.
Exactly, yeah.
Completely.
They don't recognise that, but I just feel like school is the perfect environment for that kind of thing to be, you know.
It's like a petri dish for it. It just allows it to grow.
Yeah, 100%. And especially if you have maybe a smaller year, everyone knows everyone.
As you did,
Yeah, I feel like maybe a bigger year, it's easier to kind of stay hidden out of drama and things like that. But then I guess with a small school, you're in amongst it. That's it. Yeah, that's really. There's no sidelines. You're in it.
No, you're playing.
The thing. Yeah,
you're on the pitch.
Exactly.
No spectator. Yeah, exactly. So with my school, like I think as you said, we like floaters. So I would never have. I had a core group of friends, like one or two people who I'd always like spend a lot of time with every day. But I'd be friends with loads of people because I did loads of different societies. Yeah. So it's sort of like the people I did I did like a financial trading society. So I ran that, and all the people part of that I was mates with. All the people who did like the UN with me, I was friends with them. And all the people who did rugby, I was friends with them as well. So they're very distinct, interesting groups, but I'm friends with all of them. Yeah. You know, so when I go around school, I'll be like, oh, hi mate, sit with them for a bit, talk to them. And you're not pigeonholing yourself, which is so good. Because once you do that, you then get the label, the little label. Yeah, they love giving out these days. They love giving out the labels. But like, why? I don't. It's so when you ask why enough times, you find the root of basically anything.
And
it's like you get to a point where people can't even answer you logically because it doesn't make sense, or the answer's pretty fucked up. You know. Yeah. So it's like, you know, let's do this. So brilliant. Why does someone bully? Because they're insecure about themselves. Why are they insecure about themselves? Probably past trauma. Why is it past trauma thing? Because they've had an unfortunate circumstance which has caused that.
Yeah, you can find the root of everything if you just question it. But I think also there is a big kind of culture around. I think there's a bit of competition within girls sometimes that sort of perpetuates that as well, kind of comparing yourself to other girls, and then that just leads to further issues because there's a bit of a hierarchy system.
There's always a hierarchy.
Yeah.
It's just like, I've heard that thing, it's like there's a game, there's three types of people playing the game. There's people who are consciously aware of the game and are playing it, the people who are aware of the game and don't play it, and the people who have no clue there's a game.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, I talked about this in a previous episode as well, but like that's so important because you're either going to be consciously acting in a way to get to the top of said hierarchy because you feel that's important, as you said for girls there, trying to be like I hate using this language, but it's the sort of best way to describe like alpha female sort of thing.
Yeah.
But like, you know, that could, for you to get there, that means someone else isn't there, and you may have done stuff that's immoral or fucked to get there.
Yeah, exactly. To be the queen bee.
Would you say your school had that sort of character?
Yeah. Yeah,
and
definitely.
Obviously we're not going to mention any names here, but like, how would you describe this sort of like, or this archetype of a person?
Yes, so there was kind of a couple that were kind of leading. Yeah, exactly. So
it's like a film, isn't it? Like what?
It really is. But then they were leading their own, you know, individual group.
So they're like, there's the two male and female hierarchies.
Yeah,
and obviously they're together.
Exactly.
Okay.
Sort of the same level.
Yeah.
But they all, there was definitely a correlation between the queen bees because very loud but obnoxious, sort of, very sort of, well, just bitchy really, just kind of with the way they would talk to you and just entitled, and they'd look down on you a little bit and just quite cold. You know how you get warm people and cold people and
very
like
cold.
Yeah, just really like ooh. Like,
bloody hell.
Yeah, it's a bit chilly in there. It's a bit nippy.
Mate, yeah. Someone turn the radiator on, mate. Fucking hell, yeah.
But definitely those kind of, they'd all be quite similar.
I had some people in my school, where I'd just be like, are you real? Like, they have no emotion. I'm like, wake up, mate, wake up. Are you all right? Are you all right? I shake him, like, what are you doing? And there'd still be no emotion there.
I know,
like, where, are you okay? Like, what are you doing?
Maybe it's a self-protection sort of mechanism. I'm not sure.
To me, as quite an emotive person, it just really threw me off. I was like, what?
I know. Yeah, what's going on?
What is the process here? Yeah. But honestly, like it's a lot to unpack, isn't it? All this stuff.
I know. Exactly.
I think that thing about hierarchy is quite interesting. So like, where someone sits within that, it's sort of like the sort of patronage thing. So the alpha female gets the patronage from the people below, and in return she gives it to them in a sort of way of like, oh yeah, sit with us, come to this party. It's, you know, for any group there has to be an other. So for the goth group to exist, there has to be another group. For the jocks to exist, like the rugby guys or whatever else, the jerks to exist, there has to be someone else, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's not a club if everyone's divided. Someone has to be out of the club.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's where this toxic shit of bullying people and you know, not being inclusive comes from.
I feel like it's interesting when you talk to other people because everyone knows, sort of, you know, relates to the
no one knows their
hierarchy.
position.
Yeah.
It's unspoken, but everyone knows.
Everyone knows, like subconsciously. And you don't really, like if I talk about hierarchy at school, people either go like, oh yeah, you know, they think to themselves, oh, school, I was definitely like the nerd, or, you know.
Like they knew where they was.
Yeah.
No one's told them that.
Yeah.
They just know.
You just knew. You knew. It's an unsaid rule.
Unspoken rule. Exactly. But it's just so interesting because from a lot of things I've sort of read and seen, people who are really popular in school never do that well. Because they sort of peak at that early age. Like I can think of quite a few examples off the top of my head. Obviously, I don't out anyone here, but like you can kind of see how that goes because when you have everything, you have no incentive. Yeah. Basically, because you find that with sort of everything. You've probably seen this with sort of like a lot of people with, if you have everyone, so the queen people, all these top people, they're getting everyone loving them, fulfilling all their needs, basically. Why have you got to improve? You haven't. Why have you got to do anything? You haven't, because you're there. Yeah. And the whole point of doing stuff like, you know, going to the gym, working on yourself, reading, it's because you want to strive to be more. But now when that gets toxic is like sort of not thinking you're good enough. But you have to, at the same time, think you're good enough, but strive for more. Yeah. But know in yourself you are enough. Yeah. It's just that inner confidence that kind of reverberates through and, like, you know, affect other people as well. Exactly. So when you're confident, you give permission for others to be confident. Exactly. And it's sort of like, oh, don't talk to me. Close off. You can tell the body language if someone's doing, you know. Like you look at someone, you go, yeah, I know what's going on there. Are you going to be receptive if I speak to you or not? I know. So even when I was doing that Red Bull thing, I could tell when I was speaking to people if they would be all right or not. By the way they were walking, the way they were talking. Yeah. Because if someone's head down, music on, don't speak to them because they're going to be annoyed that you've stopped them. But if you speak to someone having a chat, yeah, I'll go, hi, how are you today? They're like, oh, hi. And then starts a little thing going on, you know?
It's like what we were talking about earlier about smiling at
Yeah,
people walking
exactly.
around. It's just like different
wow.
people's vibes. Yeah.
In the summer, me and my friend did this big walk. And I remember distinctly, we were at a train station in Guildford. Guildford train station,
Yeah.
big one there. Yeah, we was walking through there. And there's all these people coming back from work. And I said to my mate, like, let's cheer them up a bit. Let's see how many people we can make like smile in this like, area. And then he'd walk up to someone and be like, hi, mate, how you doing, you alright? And then someone like dead because like they've worked all day, and that's made me think I don't want to do that. I don't want to be so upset coming home from work.
Yeah.
And some of them like really gassed to see us like and that's sick. That's so cool, you know, that you just smiling, as we said earlier, can have that huge impact.
Yeah, I know it really can have a huge impact on someone's day. You don't even realise it.
Exactly.
But it does.
You don't even know who they are, but that's just changed the whole course of their day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just one little thing, or the course of their week, month, or even life. You know.
Yeah.
Who knows where someone is mentally? You know, who knows?
I know.
And you just doing that could fully change everything.
Yeah, God.
That's it.
That is it.
So yeah, back to the school thing then. So, did you see the sort of like side of the bullying of it, or did that ever happen to you or people you know, or?
The word bullying is really
again a
weird
really loaded term, isn't it?
Yeah, because if you kind of say to someone, oh yeah, you know, I was bullied, it kind of has certain connotations.
There's a lot of connotations.
Maybe you know, you could be victimizing yourself, or you could, you know, there's a lot going on like in the subtext. But there was just a group of girls that I sort of got friendly with from maybe 11 to, when was it? It was like from 15 to 16 maybe, and I got quite close, and then 16 suddenly just dropped me. Yeah, and I was gone. I was a goner.
You was in the bin.
Yeah, in the bin.
Sorry, mate.
Get out.
No, that's it. Did
Exactly.
they give a reason, justification, sort of thing? Or?
That was something that started it, and it was a rumour.
Oh, that's where it all begins. That is warfare. That is female warfare.
Exactly.
It's the rumours.
That's the ammunition.
Yeah, that's your reputation. Fire an RPG.
Yeah, exactly. Goes back to reputation, 100%. But then that was around about the time I started modelling, and sort of maybe. So
did that start before or after you got kicked out?
It kind of before, but kind of picked up afterwards.
Okay.
And I kind of.
But they were aware you were getting into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I kind of I think after everything happened, I kind of used it as a sort of.
Let's just sorry lads, I'm
of.
in your group, but are you modelling? No, you're not. So unlucky.
And then, which was probably a little bit unhealthy retrospectively, but
it's not really the best, but yeah.
But then I just remember whenever I'd come back from school being like, oh god, I hate school so much, I've got so long left until, you know, uni, blah blah. My mum used to say to me, right, just remember the popular kids at school, this is when they peak. After that,
LMA's mum got some absolute wisdom there. Come on.
Oh god, love you, mum. But then it really does kind of show that she was making some sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Because now at uni, I feel that my kind of social circles just opened up, and I'm not used to sort of having that, because at school I was kind of, you know, like the one who would be like, right, okay, who am I going to have lunch with today? Let's look at all my oh, wait, hang on a second, I don't have any. But then I just, after school, I was just so excited to get on my gap year. Actually, COVID then hit in my last year of school, so everyone else was like, oh no, like, last year of school, bit shit. But
what
I was like, whoa.
I don't have to spend my time with you guys. Come round? Oh, you're not coming round. Good.
Yeah, I had an excuse to be like, actually, I'm going to be home.
That's it.
So COVID came quite a good time for me.
So it's all part of the plan. That's it.
Part of the process.
Yeah. That's so mental. Like, see, again, this conversation is so enlightening to me, because you see someone, you never assume any of this, like, this stuff that happens. But everyone's got this story, but that's so important to actually, you know, talk and find out.
I know. But everyone has so much going on that you would never guess.
No.
I know. It's really weird when you actually find out someone's story, but then it actually kind of shapes who they are, and it's
where it all
cool.
comes from, sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice one. Just getting a bit lighter now. I'm like in the mood. Bit lacrosse. How is lacrosse going, LMA? Tell me.
Oh my god, I love mixed lacrosse so much. I feel like I've never been one to kind of go, right, I'm just gonna go to the gym, some like, lift some weights, like get these games.
Smash it out, yeah.
Exactly. I kind of like, having a racket or just like, having
a team sport.
Yeah. I love a good team sport. That doesn't mean I'm any good at sport, but I just really like it because you just get to like shout and go, woo, go team, and
go team. That's it.
Get you in the game.
Come on, mix the cross.
But it was so actually recently I have been trying to. I didn't get into the cuts like what was it, like I think it's called like a floodlit cup.
Floodlit, yeah. Floodlit,
that one. And then I on the Facebook group, I was like, oh no, I didn't make it. But that won't stop me. Like next time.
Exactly. Who cares? Improvise, adapt, overcome.
Exactly. And so many of them are DU lacrosse, so that's my excuse.
Yeah, it's a matter,
Exactly. I've never done it before.
Yeah. You've probably played it since you're about 2 years old, like.
Exactly. I'm just saying, like, chill. It's fine. Like, you just try next time. It's all right.
And that's a really interesting point you bring up there. It's just having the confidence to try something new. Because I did what have I done up here? The most out of there thing I've done up here is I did a bit of salsa dancing.
How was it?
Really good.
Really?
Really good.
I was thinking about doing that.
If you're thinking about doing it, do it. To be fair, I'll just do it. Like I've been once, and it was a very weird but really fun experience.
I can imagine I can really.
I was in the room like, oh, yeah, let's do some salsa dancing then. And we started off doing a few warm ups, and then got into it. Yeah, it was good fun.
Who led it?
I think they get someone in.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's good.
Whoa.
Good
fun. I think they do other ballroom dancing.
There's a lot of dancing going on. Loads of different types.
I do want to join Calsoc, I think.
Calsoc, yeah.
That looks fun.
I've been thinking about doing that.
That looks fun. I think a lot of people do it as well.
Yeah, no, it's quite a big thing, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. And the balls, you get to dress up as well.
That's what it's all about.
Best of both worlds.
Best of both. Bang. But yeah, so like, how have you found sort of Durham nights out? What have you thought about that? Like,
I feel like Durham has had, I don't know if you heard, what Durham's reputation was before you came, but I definitely heard that, nightlife, awful, like nothing to do.
Go to Newcastle for the night out.
Exactly.
That's what I was told, basically.
That's what I was told. But, I mean, I have been to Newcastle a couple times already, but every time I come back, I'm like, this is such good fun. I don't know.
Right.
Some of the music could do with switching up, but I won't complain. And I'm quite a big ABBA fan myself, so I guess
So you're alright.
I'm alright.
That's a non-ABBA fan in Durham, mate. That's it.
Exactly. That's it. You just.
If you do not like ABBA, well, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Yeah. Wrong uni, mate.
Let's move on. Imagine being like sort of like, I don't know, heavy rap or something, and having to go to a Durham club.
It's not really the place for you. You wouldn't thrive there. But I think whenever I go out, I just have, I wake up the next morning, I go, that was a good night.
Quality night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Exactly. But I like my nights out, and I think I'm starting to get to the point, like end of term, where slightly overdone it and sort of need a couple nights in now. But so I'm liking those movie nights at the moment, especially in the snow. Like
that's a vibe, to be fair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Snow, the Harry Potter on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I did go. When was it? When it was properly chucking it down. I think that was Friday.
Yeah.
Friday night for the whole night. It was the weather was a little bit vile, but
I walked home in that. It was mental.
I was walking home after Paddy's, good old Paddy's, at 3 a.m. just still chucking it down, but I had my vodka coat on, so it was alright. Like I didn't feel the cold too much, but then felt it when I sobered up inside. I thought, exactly. Oh, crikey.
So just talk about music there. Like, you do a bit of music yourself, don't you, as well?
Yes, I do quite like my music.
Dabble a bit of music.
Dabble.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of looking to get into it, properly. Sort of definitely giving it a good go.
And why not, yeah.
Because I've been performing ever since I was 11 really, and just trying to sing as much as I can, and sort of I think that's probably what I, you know, if anyone asked me the question, what do you love doing?
What is your thing?
Yeah, what is your thing?
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, well, yeah, music.
That is it.
Probably.
Bang.
Because I love also, when we were talking earlier about how you kind of check in with yourself, writing songs.
That's reflective.
Yeah, is my sort of, that's how I can, you know, like do something that is a bit challenging, or so that really, really helps. And I just really enjoy it as well, which helps.
Nice, exactly.
But yeah, I have been a little bit hesitant to sort of put myself out there, because I'm kind of wanting to perform as much as I can, build up that confidence, so that then I feel good about really going for it in, you know, the big wide world.
I mean, that's the thing. Uni's so good for that as well, to just put yourself out there in a safe environment, you know, and go,
really
let's see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going to happen with this. Like, even with this whole podcast, the whole point of it is like, you know, put it out there, see what happens, you know, produce the highest quality content you can, see where it goes.
Yeah.
And with this music as well, it's just like going all in, you know, if you just be like, this is it now, we want to do this.
Exactly.
And, you know, it's just sort of, as well, like, it's about having the solid foundation, sort of building up from it as well. Because, you know, you've gone, I've done the smaller shows, you know, I've spent the time in the studio, I've spent the time doing this, so then you can go, you know, confidently in front of a bigger audience and put on a good show.
It's really good for also meeting people and sort of building those connections and networking even.
Yeah,
just,
exactly.
You know, you meet so many people who knows this person, and
so that's sort of like web, isn't it? Like,
yeah. And so it's a really good way to sort of, you know, get a foot in and kind of make those connections, so that when you then leave uni, you know, you're ever in the industry and you go, oh, actually I know this person from uni, him and I way back.
That's it, there we are.
Bang. But so I really enjoyed that part, and sort of meeting people at gigs and like live music performances and things like that.
So how would you like to describe your style then? If you've got a particular style, we're still working on that.
Yes, I'm kind of working, I wouldn't know like how to define it. I feel like maybe it's a mixture of a bit of jazz, but also I kind of want to add a bit of funk in there. I really look up to Elton John actually, and sort of kind of want to write meaningful lyrics, but then set it to something that is actually really catchy. Yeah,
definitely.
And yeah, no, he's a talented man.
Got a favourite song?
Well, what is my favourite song of all time is actually by Mumford & Sons, and I don't know if you I guess they're quite well known, but there's one called There Will Be Time that just, it starts off with just beautiful singing. I think they get who did they get in? I feel like I won't pronounce this right. Don't want to offend anyone, but I think he's called Baba Mal, and he has the most stunning voice, and it starts quite slow and then just builds and builds, and that also reminds me of Kenya, that song. So yeah, that's
really cool as well, because certain songs remind you of certain times, and you can just connect it straight away in your head.
Yeah,
like
and people as well. You kind of associate a certain song with a person.
Yeah, that song is this person.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Because someone else can listen to that, and that could be something else, or
I
some
know.
other person.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you have linked to it.
Yeah.
And then going back to like people and words, how you could walk down the street and 100 people can have 100 different perceptions of you.
I know.
You're never gonna know.
Exactly. You know.
What are they thinking of you? Who knows?
I know. I actually think about that quite a lot as well. But I was speaking to someone actually. When was it? I think it was in Freshers, and I think it got on. I don't know how it got onto music, but then I sort of said, okay, what do you kind of listen to? And they went, oh yeah, no, I don't listen to music.
Huh?
I thought,
sorry mate, what?
Wait, are you alright? Like, you just talk about it.
No hug? No hug, mate? Yeah.
But I just thought that was quite a connecting thing of kind of just
like everyone
humans.
Listens to music, right?
Yeah. And then
even like ancient tribes and that, they have drums and stuff.
I know. And just to hear someone go like, I actually just actively don't listen. I'm like, oh God.
Oh.
What do you do in your...
Yeah, cool.
Because I feel like even in my room, having music on, having a track on in the background is just...
It's some sort of ambience or something, like, yeah.
And it doesn't, you know, if you kind of don't want it to be just silence, it is quite nice to have that in the background.
Yeah, just
but
then,
there.
You know,
what, maybe, I don't know, a podcast? Lawless Podcast?
Maybe that's in the background from now on. Cheeky plug on the actual thing itself. So you wouldn't be listening to it unless you weren't listening to it. But yeah, whatever. Well, that's really cool though. I think for me, there's one. Have you got any particular songs where you go, obviously that one for Kenya? Have you got any other ones you go, this is this memory?
I kind of, a lot of the time make films for, you know, different like holiday, like family holidays.
Like together, sort of like, that's nice. That's really nice.
I love doing that. So a lot of the time the music I set to that little mini film will be, you know, will remind me of that holiday or that place.
Yeah, that's sick.
And what can I think of an example? So weirdly, when I was about 13, I went on a skiing trip with like lots of family friends, and there was like 10 of us, with like, yeah, different families, and I set the music to Fast Car, but not the Tracy Chapman classic version, the new one. And so now every time, I don't know why I chose that song, that's quite rogue, but and so every time I listen to that song now, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, that's that, yeah. It's kind of weird how music can do that for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's like, there's sort of one song for me, you know the song Break My Stride?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I was on this like flying scholarship with cadets like a few years ago, and this kid, because at cadets there's two major courses. One of them's like a flying course, and the other one's like a sort of in the field sort of like camo course sort of thing. And I did one of the courses, and this other kid did the other one, and it was quite like a rivalry. And he basically outed me the day before, was like, "Do you want to go gym?" And I was like, "All right, what time?" And he goes, "at 6." And I'm like, "Okay, make it happen, mate." So I literally got up at 6 just to kind of prove this kid wrong, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I knocked on his door, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It's 6, mate, get up." And I remember listening to that song, and that, I don't know why that stayed with me among all the songs, but I just distinctly remember that, which is some weird thing, yeah.
Actually, yeah, you can have a moment, and that maybe like in a restaurant or something, and then a song will be playing in the background, and for some, like, that's happened to me before.
And that does that, it just interlinks and like becomes a thing.
Exactly. And then you listen again, and you go, oh my god, yeah, that was playing then.
That's when that's
Weird.
That's that, yeah.
Weird.
Nice.
But yeah, I feel like in a way I am quite bad at articulating myself sometimes, so writing songs actually really help.
That is the articulation.
Yeah.
Because it describes what you can't say in words through the songs.
Exactly. And I'm so much better at writing down. Like if I were to ever write a really long apology to someone, I'd probably be that person that would send it in a really long text rather than like say it on the phone, because I'm so much better. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, think about actually what you're saying.
Exactly.
But then merging that with music, just works well for me.
Nice.
Yeah. Do you have a favourite song?
It's hard. It is really, really hard, because my music taste is so weird. It's like, I'll just cherry pick from every single genre. I go, I like this from this. I like this from this.
I'm a bit the same, yeah.
Because I think it's weird when it's like, what do you like? It's like, just this. It's like, what about everything else? Nah, fuck everything else, mate. I like this one genre. It's like, what about, there's so much going on there. Like,
there's so much.
It depends on my mood as well. Like, if you're in the gym and listen to like heavy sort of like rock stuff, you know, but if you're on a walk, you listen to what lighter stuff. You revise it, you listen to like soundtracks and stuff. So it depends what you're doing, really, to kind of set the mood.
Yeah.
Walking to a lecture, you want something upbeat, get you in the right mindset. So it really depends. I think Kanye West, some of his stuff's pretty good. Like Jesus Walks, I like that song. It's quite nice. And there's another one. It's called Soldier Poet King. I really like that song. I really like that song because it's just the way it just makes you think about some really cool stuff when I like listen to it. About like you're on that sort of like a mission, you're on a quest, and you've got to do it.
Yeah.
You know? That's what makes you feel. That's like sick.
But actually, I've got a question. If you're in a slightly like mellow, maybe chill mood, do you then like listening to songs that fit that mood, or to get out of it, would you want to listen to quite an upbeat song to be like, no, come on, like, pump it up?
Would I want to be in this mood or not? I don't. I do want to.
Would the music sort of relate to, would you put on a song being like, right, I'm feeling a bit like low. Let me just.
You know what's really toxic is, you know when you feel sad, you put on sad music to feel more sad. Yeah. It's like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm just making it so much worse. Like, there's just no need to do that. Because like.
But so weirdly, when I put on like some of, Bon Iver, some of his music is so stunning. And if I'm feeling quite like maybe a bit low, I'll put it on, but it will make me feel better, even though it's slightly like. Kind of fits. You kind of
relate to it as well.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I feel like sometimes sad music for me doesn't necessarily make me feel more sad. Weirdly, because I sort of go, "Oh, this is a really good song. This is really good."
Song.
Yeah,
it's a good song.
And it puts me actually in quite a good mood.
Nice. But yeah, so like, what was it like growing up actually in London then? How was that?
Oh yeah, that was interesting because there's always so much to do. Yeah. But when people kind of talk about, their local community, their neighbourhood, and, going out and sort of, I don't know, like kicking a ball about in the street, like you don't really do that in London. And I feel like that's one thing I sort of missed out, because you don't really, you kind of do, you would say like you should go to the park, but I feel like out of London that would be more, you do stuff outside.
It's not like community feel.
Yeah, exactly. And well, sometimes there is a community feel, but it can be a bit toxic. Like
really?
Kind of people being like, "Oh my god, did you hear Chris and Deborah divorcing? Oh my god, I saw that one coming."
Deborah got with a postman yesterday. It's just like, and they just dob each other in sort of thing.
Yeah, there is a bit of that, especially in the area I live. But there's always something to do. And also, like, being a young person in London is fabulous. Just because
an abundance of everything going on.
Yeah, there's just, like, if you want to go out, it's so easy to
just... on your doorstep, just
literally.
Go.
Yeah, just get on tube and you're, 10 minutes, you're there.
How far is it? 10 minutes to Central? Or how far have you got to get there?
So for me, it's a bit of a, like, zigzag.
Sort of
Yeah, because there's this key bridge that is closed near me called Hammersmith Bridge.
Shout out to Hammersmith Bridge.
If you live near there, you'll know how much of a pain that is. But then, so I kind of have to do two halves of a triangle really to get to Central. But it would probably take about like 40-50 minutes, which is not too bad.
No.
But if you're just, it's like a last minute plan and people are like, right, like, let us meet here in 20, I'll have to be like, oh, wait. No. It will take me longer.
No.
It'll take me longer than that.
I can't just drop everything and be there in 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. But then being in a London day school actually is quite different to kind of, everyone, other people's experiences that I've heard about just of school. Because I think people with boarding school, you can't, put up most of the time you can't really put up a facade because you're with people 24/7.
They're always there.
Yeah. But with day school, there is a kind of temptation to put up that front, and then you go home at the end of the day, so you can sort of like relax.
Can't take my mask off.
Yeah, exactly. So that's sort of maybe an element of kind of fakeness within that. But it's not too... I think that's quite subtle, though. That's not that obvious. But then just thinking about, in boarding school, I feel like people really say what they feel. Like, they take that into adulthood. Because you can't not. Like, you're living with these people all the time.
Digby, your pants are on the floor. Pick them up. Like, you can't get away from it. You have to just, like, straight bang, bang,
exactly.
Even living in college, like, you can't... You got to hold people accountable. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't, like, washed your dishes. What are you doing? Like, it's got mould on it now. Like, come on.
Flush the chain, mate. Come on. Get with it. Like, what are you doing?
But so going from I've been told that Durham is quite boarding school. I've
heard that.
So I wouldn't know what that's like, but I can kind of see that here, and sort of maybe some of the also the buildings and the fact that it's collegiate makes kind of heightens
it's
that.
Like a mini boarding, like 15 different mini boarding schools.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I've quite liked the kind of school. Well, because I don't know about you, but I'm like catered in so it I can imagine that does feel quite a lot like boarding
So
school.
everyone goes down to eat together, sort
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah. How have you found catered?
Not enough food.
Really?
It's not enough food. No.
I heard that some of the DU people.
Yeah, so you get double portions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I think that's pretty
sounds
cool.
like a dream.
See, my mate gets double portions, but it's not actually double portions. So when I
Oh.
perceive double portions, I think 2 plates
Yeah,
or
same.
full meals, but that's not what it is.
Then
You know, you get a main bit of like meat or something.
yeah.
That that's like you can't get more of if you want more. You just get 2 of them. That's it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So double portions isn't 2 plates. Tuck in, mate.
That's
It's-
what I envisioned.
Here's what extra bit of chicken, mate. Like, that's about it. So it's not, nothing too major.
I actually got for seconds, so quite a lot.
And they let you do that?
Well, it depends who is serving.
Who's on the door?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm like, oh, come on, Jane, hello,
That's it.
how are you? Then she'll be like, oh, not supposed to do this, but you
No, but like
go.
I don't know. I'm ridiculously pally with the dinner staff in Trev's. Like, it's weird. It's got to a stage now where they're like my
That's
mates.
quite nice.
No,
though.
I talk to them about my day and stuff, and they go
Yeah.
through. Yeah, it's quite cool actually.
That is quite nice. And also at the end of the day, just like after lectures and stuff, it is nice to see everyone, you know,
Yeah.
having their meal. And
Shout out to Linda and Karen, my guys.
Linda and Karen, legends.
No, legit, they're the stuff.
Is the food good?
It's pretty decent to be
Mhm.
fair. It's not terrible. Like, I think just for me, I was back home. I was a bit of a nutrition guy. I always
Okay.
did my meals, got them all sorted. I had a lot of food. Like,
Mhm.
it was weird the amount of food I could put away, sort of thing. Like every dinner it was like chicken, rice, steak, like stuff like that, cow and that. And it'd be quite regimented. I'd always just eat the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, coming in having like potato every day. That was about it. Like, it's like, come on, mate, where's the rest of it? Like,
But I do. There are some like they have yogurts in. I don't know about you, but
Do you take like 20,
I
20 of them?
honestly, I take about every day. I take like a handful of those little butter sachet
take the
things,
butter,
and
yeah,
then
take the butter.
loads of yogurt, and then also I do steal some of the. I'm really outing myself, but I do steal some of the cereal for the next day
It has to be done.
because
they
they
come in
are.
boxes.
Yeah.
Has to be done.
So why not?
We don't have boxes anymore.
Oh,
Like,
you
they've stopped doing them.
don't. Oh,
I
that.
think probably because they've caught on like to what's
Mhm.
going on.
I
So
would, yeah, I'd
Yeah.
I'd be fucked if that was me.
that's it. They just go, and a main room inspection. What's in there? What's in that drawer? Opens drawer. There's like 200 like Weetabix in there. They're like, wait, you've been robbing
It's
the
really
cafeteria.
neatly stored as well.
Yeah, stacked up in little piles in there. Nice.
Yeah, well, that is what my room looks like.
That's
so
it.
you caught me
Big fella
there.
mate's room, just Weetabix everywhere. That's all it is. Good stuff. That's it.
Weetabix does slap though. It fills you up in the morning.
It does. Has to be done.
Yeah.
I just got 3 bars of cereal. I'm out of myself here again. But it's got to be done. When you got a big day ahead of you.
Exactly.
Bit porridge, Weetabix, Cocoa Pops.
Oh, I love my porridge in the morning.
Other stuff, bag.
Oh,
Honey in the little
lovely.
sachet of
Oh,
honey.
Yes,
dash it in.
Yeah, that I do. Yeah, I steal that as well.
Has to be done.
I'm stealing everything really.
Nice one. So yeah, we have like, I don't know what else I can really talk. I've got quite a few things we can talk about going into. So Durham spiking, another really weird rogue topic.
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh,
We've gone heavy.
God.
We've gone from Weetabix to
Yeah.
Durham spiking in 2 minutes. So here we are. But yeah, so like, what do you think about that? And where do you think that sort of comes from? And what can be done?
I feel like it's quite. I feel like a lot of people can say they know someone who has
There's
been.
always a story.
Yeah, but one of my really good friends actually, I wasn't with her on the night, but I know she kind of woke up the next morning, really sore back, checked, and there was a little,
Little spot.
injection.
Oh shit! She
site.
injected.
Yeah, and she doesn't remember the night at all, and I mean she got tested and everything, and no like HIV, nothing like
None
that.
of that.
But
Good.
which is really lucky, but just terrifying to
Yeah,
think
'cause
about.
Is she probably thinking like,
Mm,
I can't remember anything. What's happened?
Yeah. exactly.
I've got this thing on my back.
Mhm.
It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, could have been so much worse, and
Yeah.
I think she was fine and nothing bad happened, but it's just the idea that this substance is in you for like 24 hours and like without obviously without your consent, but and then after that I just thought I spent like 10 days straight, just going, I don't want to go out. I'm just terrified. Like, I know the effects of it.
You've firsthand.
Yeah,
you've seen it,
exactly. Yeah. And I think the whole night I'd just be thinking, oh God, this could happen to me. And I wouldn't enjoy myself. But I feel like recently I have been going out, but it is still sort of there, kind of in the back of your mind subconsciously, which is a bit scary, but
there's always that sort of thought.
Exactly. But I feel like it's sort of died down now, that because it's been such a hot topic, that now people are being searched and things. Definitely cases have just gone down, which I think is great, because speaking about it sort of gets it out in the open, and then I think it has affected the numbers, and exactly, the numbers and the cases have gone down, but still it's just a bit worrying, because this has never happened before. And pills and putting stuff in people's drinks, that's been
around for a while.
Yeah, but injections, what?
That's a different level. That's like
exactly.
Especially with HIV as well. That's
exactly.
insane. That the percentage of people in this country who have HIV is like 0.1.
Really?
Or something really minuscule like that.
Mm-hmm.
So for that to have HIV in, that's on purpose.
Yeah.
That's on purpose. So then you got to try and go, right, why is this person doing that then?
Mm-hmm.
As we said, there's always an underlying cause.
Mm-hmm.
But where is that coming from? Where justifiably, mentally, as a clearly intellectual person who is capable of doing shit, because otherwise you wouldn't be here,
mm-hmm.
then why are you thinking that's acceptable? What's gone wrong? You've clearly not gone to a bad school.
It's just terrifying.
You've clearly not been around that many bad people. So where's it come from?
I know. It kind of, I think, because I do talk to a lot of my guy friends about it and sort of say, can you go out?
Look after them sort of thing,
come with me and just make sure nothing bad happens. But then also it is happening to guys as well.
Yeah.
Which just makes you think, what's the motivation? You know what I mean?
And who's doing it?
I know.
Yeah.
It's really, really terrifying to think about. But I think it was, the kind of hysteria has died down a bit since,
It's like any big issue, like even in like the media cycle, something could be so significant like this, and then it gets said, and then it goes away. No one really gives one about it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though the issue's still there.
I know, because you're not. Yeah, because it's so new, you're sort of gonna get more publicity about it.
Yeah.
But then it's just a bit of a worrying thought that cases rise again, and then it's not really talked
and
about.
It could be higher now, but who knows?
Exactly.
It's not being talked about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
so it's really mental. That's why you got to look after your friends on a night out.
I know.
And if you lose someone, find them. Don't just say they're lost. Oh, I lost them.
Exactly.
Find them.
The amount of people I've heard say that just go like, oh no, I've lost this person. Okay. And then I just go,
all right, back tonight then. Get a drink, yeah? No, find your mate. What the hell? That's so weird.
Yeah, you don't need another Jaeger bomb. Just go and find your mate.
Jaeger bomb, your mate. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, go to them, help them, please. Like, yeah. But honestly, I think like a big underlying reason, just myself trying to think about this at the moment, that some of this may occur is a broken perception of what one's sex and what a relationship is. Because I think that could actually stem from sort of porn.
Oh, 100%.
You said earlier about that girl who's doing that quite interesting thing. What was that about again?
So I think, I don't know if a lot of people will know about it, but Zara Mcdermott, she's a ex-Love Islander and now together with main Chelsea star Sam Thompson, and she has been very vocal. She's kind of using her platform to sort of spread awareness about sex education in the UK, which is something also I'm really, really passionate about as well, because she had a bad experience in school, and also just kind of recognises that comments in the street, just all this sort of links to the fact that there's a lack of sex education in the UK that is sort of, you know, issues like consent and just being aware of that sort of thing, and the fact that most people's first exposure to what sex is porn.
That is the first
yeah,
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you've gone, I have no idea what this is. So it's even in academia. When you come across a new topic, you're very unlikely to question what you see, because if that's all you've seen, you have no reference points.
Yeah, exactly.
Therefore, you just unquestionably accept the information you're taking on.
Yeah, and as a child, you're like a sponge. You just absorb all this information that's been given to you. You don't question it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you take that into your adult life and just think it's normal. And then the thing is, all these girls that, you know, speaking to friends and things, you don't question that because it's what you're used to as well, with how
as a girl with lads.
Yeah, and how guys treat you, how guys speak about you, and sort of, you know, when I think I can't remember, I think a family member said once to me, like, oh, the thing is, now I'm getting older, I've really noticed that people have stopped catcalling me in the streets. That's like kind of made me a bit sad. Yeah, and just thinking that because women sort of, that's the norm, you know.
That's the validation.
Yeah, and that's
horrible.
Exactly, that's so where you get your validation from
someone, verbally abusing you in the street.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's normal.
I know.
Have you experienced any of that yourself? Or?
Fortunately, I feel like I lived in an area that
it doesn't really happen.
It doesn't happen a huge amount, but there's obviously, like, well, you get, you know, builders just being weird and just sort of
shouting
looking you
out
up and down, and just I've a few of that. Yeah, I have experienced. But it's just important, because even growing up, the first, you know, things like media is so important in, you know, the first exposure I had to what an idea of sex was 50 Shades of Grey. Like, that
was the first thing.
Yeah.
So before that, nothing.
Yeah.
That's the first port of call, and that, obviously everyone knows what that is, but like it's not really the sort of starting point you want, is it? Really?
I mean, it's not, you know, it's still, you know, if you like that sort of thing, it's still valid.
No one's kick shaming anyone here. Just exactly. Do your thing. But
that's you know, things like, I mean, not to be too graphic, but let's just say things like missionary is seen as vanilla now, and just really boring, when things like this are in the media, and porn just kind of conveys that as really boring, and so people sort of try and strive for this idea of perfection.
Yeah, that's some sex dungeon or some shit like.
Exactly, it doesn't really, you know, exist in everyday life.
Yeah.
And people just think that, you know, this is what the idea of sex is, and anything below that is boring, or, you know,
or irrelevant, or not what's good enough.
Exactly.
And it's like with people, when you first meet someone and you know very little about them, you fill in the gaps with what you want and your perception of the ideal, and you sort of pedestalise people. And what most people have to realise is that's just you putting that on them. They shouldn't have to live up to your made up standards that you've just superimposed on a person. They're who they are, that's it. You're not going to change them. They're who they are.
Exactly.
And, like, you know, just because you believe the bar for like what is acceptable sex to you is here, and that standard has come from one, porn, and two, the fucked up media cycle, and in reality all it should be is a way of showing love to someone who you like, and in whatever way you do that is up to you. But you shouldn't, you know, expect anything. You should have these sort of beliefs where you think that it has to be a certain way, because that's just a lie.
But it's just so dangerous for, you know, things like violence is so normal in the bedroom. Like, that's not really what that experience is supposed to be about.
No, it's not meant to be that. It's supposed to be a loving thing. You're not meant to beat someone up. Like, what?
Exactly. And I just think, you know, these 11-year-olds who get exposed to this as young as 11, you know, that's, then they'll take that
11,
into
just like deep how young that is.
Exactly,
that's mental.
Exactly. Well, if I think of what I was doing at 11, I was still playing with dolls. Like, I was not thinking about that kind of thing.
I was just playing rugby. That was it. That's all I was doing. Just running about a field. Like, that was it.
Oh yeah, I was actually playing loads of football then. Oh, mad. Anyway, but it's really scary to think about, and I feel like I've definitely felt the effects of that growing up, with just how, you know, guys treat, you know, girls that I know and me, and just the language around it.
That's interesting as well, because for my politics A-level we study feminism a lot, and they talk about the language that's being used and how the language is an expression for like the culture, because obviously that's what it is, that's what language is, it's showing culture. So it's the sort of really fucked up violent language.
Yeah.
You can, everyone listen, you know what I'm talking about, the sort of words. Just why are they associated with that? Because again, I think a good theme we've had throughout this podcast is connotations are extremely important, and perception is basically everything.
Yeah.
Because, you know, objectively something could be one thing, but the perception makes it something else to everyone else.
Exactly. And all these lyrics and like rap music. It's so scary to think about.
And that's perpetuating the culture that's causing what people to think. It's gone from put your head on my shoulder to have you seen the state of her body? Do you know what I mean?
I saw something about that. Yeah.
Like how in like, so that's the 50s. You know, that's in the 50s. So the culture in the 50s is dating culture, all very sort of like nice, get to know them sort of thing. And now it's like, you know, what's the fastest way I can get to shagging you?
Exactly.
And that's it.
Yeah. Do you know the weird thing is though that back then, like, women were seen as, you know, second class citizens, and now it's much more equal. But then why has
this now degenerated to worse?
Degrading environment, just the violence and what the, you know, this language that is used. It's like we're regressing slightly. Yeah,
like you could say on paper that it's equal, but if the language and everything else and the culture's gone another way, then that's just a lie, you know?
Exactly.
Like it's the actual. There's a thing called de facto and de jure. It's like in law, I could say weed is illegal, but in reality, if like millions of people are doing it, it's not actually illegal because the law's not being enforced. So there's a difference between what someone says is going to be a thing and what is a thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's the same with this. Like, what creates culture? It's media. It's music. It's how people interact. It's the national sort of like standards, and that goes to the kids who are basically sponges, and they just take that on board. You know, and they take that on board. So if that's a really toxic place where you're teaching 11-year-olds fucked up shit like that, then they're going to think that's acceptable, and that becomes the normal. The normal is now shifted.
I know, yeah.
And then what do you do then? Because then you're then presenting. So the normal's here. That's the weird now thing. That's now the normal. The normal is, you know, violence, treating people with no respect, and hookup culture. When it was here, and the person who's here with a little sign going, actually, what you're doing over there is wrong. Then they're not going to know. And then you're just, they're like, this guy wants to get to know her first. And it's like, what a weirdo. Because that's now weird.
Exactly.
Because we've changed what's weird and what's normal.
I know.
And that applies to anything. That's not just this one specific issue.
I know, exactly.
And that's dangerous as anything. But
I know.
Again, it's fluid. It's an organic thing. So it can change again.
Exactly.
If it's gone this way, it can go back. It's like a pendulum. It will swing back.
It will always be, in flux. It won't, I think, it will be really interesting to see in like 10 years' time.
Will it go back?
Talking about this.
Because how far, we're still swinging in the sort of hookup culture direction at the moment. But how far will it get? Do you know what I mean? Where is the point when it's like, this is too much?
Exactly, yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff going on that, you know, you're really questioning, what? But then the line's not been drawn yet. And what will it take for the line to be drawn if the culture's still going that way?
Yeah, but it's just, I mean, I don't really speak to my parents about like this kind of thing, but
no, neither do I at all.
But interesting when I asked them about what it was like when they were younger.
Yeah.
Like my parents are in their 50s now, so they always say like, the etiquette was that, you know, you got a girlfriend and then you sort of thought about, you know, seeing if you wanted to go and sleep with them. But now it's sort of the other way around.
Reversed, yeah.
You would see someone first before you. Do you know what I mean?
And is that right? Is that not right? That's the thing. And if the culture's saying it's right, but on a real level, like it's not, what do you do then?
Yeah.
And everyone's got their own opinion, and that's good and that's important. But to me, I think you should get to know someone first. You should actually see who they are.
Yeah, you can. I feel like you can really, maybe, I don't know if Durham is bad for this, but I feel like in freshers you can definitely see that sort of culture coming in with like the people being like, right, mate, so like, you know.
How many girls can I get with tonight? Like, what?
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Exactly.
Like, it's just strange, you know. And I think just if people, the main point I'd say here is just remember the connotations of what you say to who you're saying it to. It's like I was listening to a podcast about the Bible the other day and about contextualizing the language that was being said. That language was being said in like Jerusalem in Israel in like 2,000 years ago. So what they meant in Aramaic, a different language, then cannot be directly linked to this now. So you have to understand that the connotations have changed, and the connotation of what you say to one person, depending on their perception of that language, will change it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that could be, oh, you're one of them, or it's, you're one of them. So it just depends, doesn't it? How do you know?
Yeah.
But again, just don't be afraid of rejection, because it's not meant to be if you are rejected by it. And if you are, the rejection is like such a hard word as well. It's like rejection. It's like, oh.
I know, it gives a bit of a, ooh, hello.
This wasn't right for you, and it's not right for them. So it's good that it's not happening.
And something else will probably come along.
One door closes, another one opens. Bang.
Exactly.
We've covered so much today.
Yeah, we really have.
And I think it's been really, really good to just have an open conversation, because everyone around Durham as well, just be open with people. Just talk to people like they're human beings. Don't put up this facade. Like, nobody wants that. Nobody's like, yeah, get in. He's got a mask on. He's pretending to be someone else. So is he. No one wants that stuff. Don't do that. Like, it's got to be brave. You've got to embrace who you are. But when you do that, it's liberating. You go, yeah, I'm me. I'm going to do me. And I don't care if you don't like that. Because if you don't like that, then I don't want to talk to you anyway.
Exactly. And people will pick up on your vibe as well, whether they think you're being a bit, and
they know if you're being fake.
Yeah.
They just won't say it, but they know you're being fake. So don't be fake.
Exactly.
So bottom line is, be unapologetically yourself. Rejection means nothing. Be yourself. And
because everyone else is taken.
That's it. That's sort of like stuff you'd see on some sort of mum's Facebook page. But yeah, I don't know if you. I always ask this question at the end. If you could have a billboard or sort of like an advert that everyone in the world saw, what would it say and why?
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Yeah, it's a big one, isn't it?
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I think it would probably be along the lines of sort of, I guess maybe treat others how you would like to be treated.
Matthew 22. There it is.
Just bottom because line. I think, imagine if we all sort of, had that philosophy going forward. I feel like things would, be different, maybe.
Make a better world.
Exactly. More empathetic and, all of that stuff.
Exactly. Well, LMA, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
We'll put links to all of your music stuff in the show notes for this video.
Thank you very much.
No worries, it's been a pleasure. But this has been the Lawless Podcast, and just a little update for you guys. We've got stay tuned on the Instagram, because we've got a big announcement coming up. Thank you so much. Thank you to Jordan and Kira for being wonderful as always, and we'll see you in the next one.